The end of that thing was built for you. Seth, come up, pull the ladder, put it up. We just missed the moment to put the fire on it. When they get out there live, then it's on them. You know, you can't go out there and fucking do the spot for them.
It seems the heels advocate has to make this video because the real reason why LA Knight got buried on WWE is becoming more and more apparent, especially with the new season of WWE Unreal, where they had a special episode dedicated to the Money in the Bank, where we saw quote-unquote LA Knight screwing up the finish and getting lectured by the game Triple H. Now, for all of the rumors going around between the beef that Triple H might have with LA Knight, this really didn't help their case. And the biggest problem starts from this sequence right here, okay? This was the ending to the Money in the Bank 2025, right? So we pretty much had LA Knight sitting on the outside of the ring looking at Seth Rollins trying to climb that, okay? So what LA Knight was supposed to do was climb the ring alongside Seth Rollins, okay? Now, not alongside him, but he's supposed to kind of take off where Seth Rollins is, all right? So, like, he's trying to, like, pull his leg, all right? And then he's trying to pull him off. Seth Rollins falls off, and then LA Knight climbs it. He barely touches the briefcase. He almost has it, and then Seth Rollins kicks him off and curb stomps him, boom, and then he goes and gets the Money in the Bank. All right, that's like how it's supposed to be. But instead, LA Knight, he pulls him off of the ladder, right? And then he hits him with his finisher. I'm sorry, a clothesline. And then proceeds to climb up the ladder himself, okay? Then Seth Rollins gets his get back. He gets LA Knight off of that. LA Knight tries to hit his BFT finisher, countered by Seth Rollins. Rollins hits him with his curb stomp, and then he proceeds to climb up the ladder and get the briefcase, okay? That is literally what Seth Rollins did, and that was the ending to the show. Now, what was supposed to happen was a little bit more of a like a tug and pull session between the two, but that was it, okay? Now, my biggest issue with all of this comes down to the fact that Triple H, first of all, I don't know why LA Knight is literally on his freaking knees. Like, why the fuck are you on your knees, bro? Right? Like, explain that to me first of all. He's literally standing here on his knees, right? He's like, he has to look up to Triple H in some, like, you know, power position type shit, right? And then you can literally see his face like kind of droop, right? As like Triple H is talking to him, it's like, oh yeah, you were supposed to pull up on Seth Rollins, tug on his foot, then he kicks you off, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? It's like neck and neck, and then Seth Rollins gets it over on you. He climbs the ladder, and boom, big finale finish, right? And like as he's explaining all this, like LA Knight's face is like really hard to decipher. But what I'm really getting at this is LA Knight was so sick and tired of the way that he was getting booked, right? And the thing is this, right? Look at this text right here. We've got a really good story there, right? This was your moment, he says, right? We missed this moment to put the fire on him, yada, 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 right? And it's like, he's talking to him, right? And it's like almost trying to insinuate that the story and the way that this match was going to finish was going to be of benefit to LA Knight, right? The way that like Triple H makes it seem is like this was supposed to be the victory of LA Knight, and LA Knight screwed up his own finish. Like if that happened, I can understand why he could be a little bit more like, you know, angry. But to the viewers watching this, I swear to God, we do not give a single damn about the entirety of the match. If you guys remember that match, which you don't, right? The biggest moment of the match was when Solo Sikoa, right? He was in the match. He was climbing the ladder. And at that time, Jacob Fatu and him were brothers, right? They were friends. And Jacob Fatu, he turns on him and he pulls Solo Sikoa off of the ladder. And Solo was about to win it, right? But, you know, Fatu costs him that victory. And obviously, then we go back to Seth Rollins. Now, the idea here that LA Knight somehow screwed up this good thing that they set up is preposterous. What good thing? You had Seth Rollins win the Money in the Bank, and then Seth Rollins, he goes out and he gets injured? Like I'm not talking about the kayfabe injury, right? He becomes world champion again, and then he gets injured, and then like the division turns on him. Are you kidding me? Right? Like this year, we did not have a Money in the Bank winner walk around with the Money in the Bank well into 5 months of being the Mr. Money in the Bank, or, you know, Mrs. Money in the Bank. At this rate, we never ever got to a position where we could have built up LA Knight. If LA Knight had become Mr. Money in the Bank after 3 attempts, right? This was his 3rd match. And this guy's over here having to listen to all this BS that Triple H is spewing right in front of his face. It's like, bruh, shut the hell up, right? And then we literally have like Seth Rollins' goofy ass talking about like, oh, I'm really upset about how the finish went. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Seth Rollins. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Oh, I'm so mad that the finish didn't go Like, this is one thing I hate about wrestling and wrestlers, right? It's this like idea that like somehow like their moveset in the ring is what carries like the sport, bro. No, like nobody gives a fuck about that shit, bro. Like, I swear to God, nobody genuinely gives a fuck about the match. Like the idea, and like I love Bret Hart, right? But I feel like he kind of started this shit. It's like if you ever read his book, right? I listened to his audiobook entirely. And like he always talks about, yeah, you know, I'll put up a good match, 5-star match, blah, blah, blah. Dave Meltzer give it a 5 stars. It's like, I understand that there's like a level of wanting the art in the ring to kind of have some type of meaning. And I get it. Amongst your colleagues, there's going to be one guy that can definitely work better. He can do everything. Like Seth Rollins is a great worker. But Seth Rollins is also a fucking Momo. You know what I'm saying? Like he's also a fucking guy that wears see-through leggings. You know what I'm saying? Like he might be wearing a fucking G-string for all I know, right? He is not a convincing character, right? The art of wrestling, by nature, is so fucking goofy to the point where the outsiders cannot take the sport serious. And it's not a fucking sport. It's a fake sport, right? So we got a bunch of people putting their collective minds into what really doesn't matter. And like, look, I'm not saying have a boring match, but out of like everybody right now today, out of all the matches that we've had, the most important match that we've had in the last 2 years was Rock, Roman Reigns versus Rollins and Cody. And that was a co-main event of WrestleMania 40. That is the only match I remember. Why? Because it was the fucking big return of The Rock after so many years, and now, you know, he's back, massive, he's a final boss. I want to see him in action, and I want to see how he does. In that aspect, we can talk about a match, we can talk about a performance, but nobody's gonna remember a freaking 6-7 man Money in the Bank match. I mean, there was like this one spot in the match where they're like literally like pushing El Grande like Americano's ladder up against the apron post, and he's climbing that shit, and you got 2 guys holding onto it so like the ladder stabilizes, and then he jumps into the ring, and then he hops onto another ladder. It's like, okay, bro, like this is so fake. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same idea that like got Seth Rollins injured. It's the same thing that got him injured, but like that freaking coast to coast headbutt, nobody is gonna like look at that ever in your entire career and talk about that moment, bro. Like who cares about that, right? So that's one thing I hate. Right, LA Knight, he's a good worker, right? He's as good as he needs to be. But the one thing that he has that nobody else has in the company is freaking personality, bro. Every single guy that you see now in the WWE today, all they do is the same BS. That's like let me just like lay it out, okay? What differentiates CM Punk from Braun Breaker, or Vaquer from Tiffy Time, or this wrestler from the other one? All right, let me just break it down for you. Stephanie Vaquer calls herself La Primera, the number one, the first, right? AKA the best in the world. CM Punk's motto, what is his catchphrase? I'm the best in the world. Okay. What's Roman Reigns? I'm the tribal chief. I'm the head of the table, right? I'm the number one. What's Cody Rhodes? He is QB1, quarterback one, right? He's a number one. What's Braun Breaker? The future of the business, the number one. Like the list goes on and on, right? Like Jade Cargill, she calls herself, I'm that bitch, right? Like she's number one, right? So you get to a point where every single wrestler's motive is virtually the same. And when you have individuals like Drew McIntyre who definitely are able to differentiate their characters from the rest, why? Because they have a different goal, right? Drew McIntyre was the guy that wanted to become the bloodline killer or the assassin of the bloodline. And he went out of his way to create that storyline. And that is what made him him. He didn't necessarily give a damn about being the champion, although obviously that is what everybody wants. But that is something that we don't need to say. Obviously, all competitors in this competitive environment strive to compete to be the number one. That is obviously true. Not a single NBA player in the NBA doesn't want to be the number one. By virtue, by nature of it being a competitive environment, and you have 2 parties colliding to see who the winner is, by that nature alone, you can just take out the fact that there is one side that wants to be better than the other. And if you apply that to all wrestlers, every single wrestler wants to be better than the other. Now, that is where everybody gets to be the same. And that is where LA Knight kind of is able to differentiate himself because, yes, obviously he wants to be number one, but the reason why he is over with the crowd is because he hasn't become number one. By the same logic that is applicable to LA Knight in this current day and age, in this situation, after losing his title match to Roman Reigns, after losing 3 Money in the Bank matches, after being right now like written off of TV, and after being gotten buried by the Triple H and whatever have you backstage. By that same logic, we loved Cody Rhodes going into WrestleMania 40. Now, I didn't love him that much because I was like, all right, bro, like we're gonna waste an entire year where you won the Rumble and you came up short against Roman Reigns, and now we're gonna wait an entire year for you to win the Rumble again, and then you're gonna have to go up against Roman Reigns and win this time. It takes away the steam. It takes away the legitimacy of you even competing for the title because, okay, now you win one, now you lose one, now you win one, now you lose one. That same 50-50 booking that makes me hate wrestling today. Because if that logic is applied to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, then we are looking at the situation where every single match is going to be 50-50. And there's not a clear-cut better wrestler than the rest, right? By doing that, you are not establishing a clear-cut power scaling structure that has clear hierarchy. Now we can say, oh yeah, this guy is mid-carder, that guy is a main eventer, but by what differential, right? By what differential? Oh yeah, okay, let's look at merch sales, for example. Oh yeah, but like, you know, Jey Uso is like the #1 merch seller, but Jey Uso is not main eventing like pay-per-views. Why not? You know what I'm saying? What other metric is there for us to judge the wrestlers in this competitive fake environment? There is none. It's all like artificial. It's all made up in our minds. We cannot look at anybody else in the ring and say that guy's better than the other when you literally have like such idiotic booking where you have a Scottish 6'6", 290-pound beast like Drew McIntyre getting fucked up in a no DQ Hell in a Cell match against a fragile 6'1", flabby belly, skinny fat CM Punk that's about to be 50 years old. In no world does that make any sense, right? The same CM Punk that got his ass fucked up in the UFC is gonna go out into the fucking steel cage match against Drew McIntyre and beat him? So already, this is where the line between us wrestling fans loving the sport of wrestling, the fake sport of wrestling, or the entertainment sport of wrestling, then you realize why we are the only ones caring about it, right? Because when you see shit like that, yeah, we can explain to others, right? You know, this is CM Punk. He was the world champion. He beat Cena, yada, yada, yada. He has all these accomplishments and accolades behind him that you could say, like in a real sport, if, for example, Khabib Nurmagomedov has had 10, 15 title matches and he's fighting some random bum who happens to be much bigger than him, right? And stronger than him and looks like he could beat him up, we all know instinctively Khabib is probably going to whoop his fucking ass upside the fucking ring, right? That's what he's going to do. But you cannot apply that logic into wrestling. And when you do, you have to be consistent. You really have to be consistent because if you don't do that, then you go from, LA Knight getting jobbed out left, right, and center, and then you want to put him in a program before he got injured against CM Punk, and then you have him look goofy, right? If you guys remember that promo segment between LA Knight and CM Punk, in this segment right here, you literally see what I'm talking about. LA Knight is confronting CM Punk, and CM Punk is like, you're over here trying to compete with the big dogs in the big leagues, but you've never won the World Heavyweight Championship, and I've won it multiple times. I have beaten Seth Rollins. And then LA Knight has to look at him and say, oh yeah, I beat him too. But did you really beat him? Because you beat him because he was injured in kayfabe, obviously. And then CM Punk says, while you were beating him fakely, I actually beat him at the debut episode of Raw on Netflix. And now you're standing in front of my face asking for a title match, asking for a championship match, when you lost the gauntlet match in which I beat Braun Breaker, I beat you, and I beat Penta. How dare you stand in the same ring as me and try and even look competitive, right? Because obviously CM Punk is right, but he is not right for the reasons that LA Knight cannot be in the main event right now. He is not there because LA Knight didn't get booked that way. If LA Knight had defeated Seth Rollins cleanly in that Saturday Night's main event match, and he went on to win the gauntlet match, all right, there you go. He's in the main event picture, right? But it isn't because this is a fair competitive sport and the best wrestle the best, and then whoever wins gets to be the best. No, that's not how it works. And that is also the reason why LA Knight is buried, right? Because you cannot take the guy serious because he hasn't won anything. He can't win a single freaking Money in the Bank ladder match, and he can't win freaking little stupid matches against Seth Rollins, right? Like the idea that Seth Rollins, did the kayfabe injury against LA Knight during the match really upsets me, right? Because all we really had to do is get to a point where LA Knight does something, right? Let's just say LA Knight, he suplexes or like body slams Seth Rollins onto the steel steps. And then Seth Rollins, he can sell a back injury or a knee injury. I don't know, however he lands. And then LA Knight, he puts him back into the ring, BFT 1, 2, 3, and then they have to stretcher out Seth Rollins. That way you make LA Knight look strong, and then you can give plausible deniability to Seth Rollins for losing that match, and they all look strong, right? That way LA Knight is strong, and then he can go ahead and confront CM Punk in a segment like he is right now, and we can believe him. But we cannot believe LA Knight if he loses the gauntlet match to become the #1 contender, and then he barely is able to defeat Seth Rollins because he only was able to hit the BFT after Seth Rollins faked his injury, and then he got the pin. And even after that, that was not a push. So my question then becomes this: why are we wasting LA Knight? Triple H, he wants to bury him for doing this shit, or you want to bury him because LA Knight stutters here and there during his promos, whatever it might be, or he might be too old, whatever the case might be. I think we can all collectively agree to the fact that you, me, and everybody, we are tired of looking at the same main event picture. We're tired. And now we get to that point of fatigue, and you want to kind of switch it up. You want to mix it up, and you want to make Drew McIntyre the champion off of a BS victory because Fatu, rolled into the ring. And, obviously Drew McIntyre, he falls out of the steel cage, and boom, he wins the the second fall, and it becomes a new champion. But he doesn't feel like a champion, does he? And that is my primary reason why everything is collapsing in the WWE. And that segment with LA Knight and Triple H truly proves everything. Obviously, you could say he kind of messed it up according to the script or whatever the hell. But the fact of the matter is, LA Knight was not supposed to win that match. So who gives a fuck? I'm the Heels Advocate.